Well, good day, and welcome to another episode of Lanark County Confidential. I'm your host, Mike Lynch Staunton, and this is episode number 38. Lanark County Confidential is a production of MLS Outdoor Media. And today's episode is sponsored by Rusty's Tackle Shack, 1558 Richmond Road, 613-207-0286. For all your custom rod needs, if you have rods and reels that need to be repaired, or you want to go through a selection of gambler lures, or you just want to come by and talk jig fishing with me, you can, by all means, come by and do that anytime. Remember, I'm running out of my home, so give me a call first. So today, this episode, I'm going to be talking about or discussing how to pick a partner for tournaments, for doing bass tournaments. And my 30-some years of doing bass tournaments, it's been almost 30-some years of doing bass tournaments, I've had some good partners, and I've had some partners that I would just I wouldn't want them to walk my dog, and that is going to go in conjunction with talking about last season's Bassmasters tournaments that I did, and the success I had at doing that. And that the two sort of go hand in hand, because in one of the tournaments, I met a guy, the non-boater for the day, and we got along pretty good, good enough that we actually won that day. And it just led me to want to do an episode on how to pick a partner, because like I said, I've had some real stinkers, and I've had some real good guys. So I'd just like to pass that on. Because I did get an email from a guy from a listener who was asking how do you rectify, or how do you, I'm trying to paraphrase his words, but how to, when you do Bassmasters, you're showing other guys your spots. So how to, I don't know the word I'm looking for, but how to reconcile that in your head, that's the word, of, like, you want to win, but you don't want to give up too much. So, and in that case, I make it plain and simple with the partners that I fish with, that I tell them straight out that if we're fishing the areas that I've fished before, please don't fish them unless you ask me first, if we're ever fishing in another tournament against each other. And some of the like you say, we're fishing Mississippi Lake or something like that, it's pretty much community hole, so I really don't care too much. But unlike like Big Rito, where you could find an insignificant hump someplace where nobody else has found it, given some time, sooner or later everybody's going to find everything. So and with GPS these days, it's even easier to go back afterwards once you've seen somebody in a spot that, hey, geez, I didn't know whether there's anything there. So you have an agreement, and hopefully bass fishermen, tournament fishermen are gentlemen, and they will hold up their share of that agreement, which in probably half the cases doesn't work out, because I have seen some long-standing teams just dissolve through disputes of you were taking this guy here fishing in our spots and this and that. And so, I even had a guy come up to me after a tournament and said, "You were fishing my spot," and I looked at him and I said, "Well, I didn't see your name on it, but." And, I told him basically afterwards, I said, you know what, you can fish that spot anywhere between 8 and 11 and 2 and 4, because between 11 and 2, I'm going to be there. And if you don't like it, well, you're going to have to deal with it. So, but I've had, when I first started fishing, I had two sort of long-term partners, and both were good, but both as a team we were limited because we didn't have enough skills to get to the next level. So I wanted to get to the next level, and I think I wanted to get there a bit more than what they wanted to do. So I figured at that point I have to move on because it's not working the way it is. So, but I've had partners where we did well in the tournament, but you'd want to crack the guy in the head with a paddle at the end of the day, just because you're competing against each other fishing, and that's no good. So, anyways, I in looking at how to pick a partner, I sort of broke it up into two categories. One is short term and one is long term. And by short term, it means like, well, I would just be fishing with him for one tournament, or in this area, or this specifically, or that lake specifically, or stuff like that. And then long term is obviously, by definition, the guy's gonna have to be. We're gonna, this is a team, and we're looking at years and years and years together. It's like a marriage, and that's one of the points that I put down is in the long term. It is like a marriage, and both people have to bring something to the relationship, because this ends up being a relationship, and both parties have to be equal in what they want out of it. And so integrity and honesty was actually the first one. Even in the short term category, it's money. And if the guys don't have enough money, it's not going to work out. So and this happened to me in a tournament where we had qualified for the second day, and my partner just didn't have enough money, and I wasn't able to, foot him the bill so we could go on. So it was too bad. So you want a partner who can be able to afford to share the expenses. And in that aspect, I've even sort of broke it down into, almost have a contract, because it's no good going to a tournament and finding out that, hey, I've only got $20 for gas and it's going to cost us $80. So, there has to be that commitment, and that commitment has to mean that there has to be some money, or the guy brings sponsors to the equation. A few years ago when I first started doing it, I had an employer that would lend me boats, so I brought the boat. So that's a lot, considering if the other guy doesn't have a boat, so, or his boat isn't capable of competing. So okay, so money, I think, is primary, is a primary. Money or sponsors is something that in the long term the partner has to have, or should have, has to have. Integrity and honesty, that's another one, because this goes on to some of another one of the other parts of the topic, or the quality that they should have, is you both should be competitive. Obviously, if we're going into a bass tournament, you both should be competitive, and to pretty much the same extent. One being a bit more competitive, the other, I've seen that, and I've experienced that, and like I said, by the end of the day, I wanted to whack the guy over the head with a paddle. It got so bad that I just sat down, and after we got our limit, I said, there you go, you got the boat for the rest of the day. Knock yourself out. Well, we didn't catch any fish for the rest of the day, but we did well. But, it just sort of made me think, am I competing against you, my partner, as well as the rest of the other guys? So it didn't work out. Eventually, that partnership faded away. It didn't work out. So the other partner should have a boat and good tackle, obviously. The ability to pre-fish. Also the partner should have a certain amount of fishing intelligence. if one partner is way more experienced than the other one, it's not going to work, because you're going to have resentment in the relationship because one partner thinks they're carrying the other one all the time. So it will work for a couple of years, but after a while, the resentment will rise, and it'll cause conflict, and that conflict will end up as a separation. So. Intelligence, and I put down that because you have to be sort of on the same wavelength, and you have to know that if we're discussing something, because there's going to be talk during the day that there's nothing personal going back and forth here. If one guy's a Ford lover and the other guy's a GM lover, well, they both got to become Ford and GM lovers together, type thing. So it's not going to help if there's this kind of rivalry going on. So also the ability to pre-fish, and in that ability to pre-fish, the ability to be honest about your pre-fishing. I had a partner in the past, and he would go out and pre-fish, and I'd say, "How are you doing?" And, "Oh yeah, I'm on good fish. I'm on good fish." "What's good fish?" "Well, we're 3s and 4s, and then we go to that area and fish it during the tournament." We wouldn't catch anything but little dinks and small keepers, and I just scratch my head and go, "Okay, well, where were all the big fish? That they must have moved." So you fish the area, you just still don't catch any big fish, and so you just wonder. So that's why in what I do when I do my pre-fishing these days is I videotape it. So I can't lie to myself. That was only a dink. That was a 3-pounder. So I'm going to fish the areas where I caught the 3-pounders, and I'm not going to fish the areas that I caught the dinks in. So, but we're talking about pre-fishing now. So, but that's what your partner has to have, has to bring to the table, is the ability to be honest about pre-fish. I had a crappy pre-fish. I couldn't catch any fish. That's what I want to hear, because then we'll stay away from that area. I don't want to hear a guy say, "Oh yeah," like he really likes to fish an area, and say, "Oh yeah, I was on fish," and you go there and you spend 4 hours. It happened in a tournament. The guy had won the year before, and we went to that spot, and it was do or die for 2 days. And finally, halfway through the second day, I said, "Come on, we sat here for the whole first day and came up with 8 pounds. We're going to sit here for the second day and come up with 8 pounds because it's not working. Let's go do something different." So, but it's fishermen have habits, and some of those habits are hard to break. And in competition, that's what you have to do, is you have to get out of those habits that aren't working for you. So, in the short term, I put down for a partner, obviously the first thing, money or sponsors and stuff like that, but the ability to keep their mouth shut. Because the last thing I want is like in doing Bassmasters last summer, is the last thing I want is the guy that I was fishing with to go blabbing about everything, where we were and all the rest of that to his buddies. So a certain amount of being quiet, confidence, and just respect for the fact that the angler spent that amount of time trying to find those areas to fish and develop the pattern, and because like I said, the guy that I fished with on Big Rito this year, Dave Weatherall, we won. He got big fish on our first spot, and that sort of set us off for the day. We got a good quick limit and a good big fish, and then we just went through the rest of the day and started improving on what we had. So, and we just talked all day long. It was a great day. He was happy. One of his biggest fish he caught that day, and he caught a lot of fish. He learned a lot, and he gave me a big compliment at the end of the day. So I take the guy. We've gone out a couple more times, and again caught big fish again. So that's why I call him Big Fish Dave Big Fish Weatherall. Every time I put him in my boat, we get big fish in the boat. So And that in itself lends itself to a lot of confidence going forward, because the next time I go in a tournament and I'm fishing with Dave, then, I know he's got good abilities. He's got good fishing knowledge. He's competitive. He wants to learn. He's willing to do something different than what I'm doing, because that's a big thing as well too. You can't both be throwing spinnerbaits and not catch fish. So the other guy's got to be willing to change it up a bit and do something that you're not doing. So it was we complemented each other well, and that's what you need. Plus he's he's the same age as I am, so we got. Chronologically, we were better suited. I fished with some younger guys in their 20s and stuff like that, and I shake my head at the Red Bull guys. I don't know what's in that crap, but anyways, I'm not going to get onto that subject. But and some of the things with the pants and stuff like that sort of irritate me. So I have one rule: you pull your pants up and you tighten your belt when you're in my boat. But and that upsets some of them. So I don't want to categorize here, but that's just what I found over the years. Is as I get older, obviously, it's an age thing. You relate better to people your own age. So I hope it's pretty much covered it. I think. I pretty much did all the points that I wanted to talk about. It's always better, and I've always found to fish with somebody who's a bit better than you, or the same capability of you, but is competitive enough to encourage you to try harder. So I remember many years ago when I was working on motors at one of the local marine dealers. There's a guy, he's a guy in the area that he wasn't famous, but I had heard of him through a couple of my customers, and he was well known as a jig fisherman or a deep weedline fisherman, and a couple of the big guys had fished with him and done well, and it was it was something that I always wanted to fish. It was somebody who I'd always wanted to fish with, and I got the opportunity because I gave him some advice over the phone on how to fix his motor. He was down a couple hundred RPMs, and he just had some dirt in the carburetor, so that was all cleaned up, and as my reward, I got to go spend the day fishing with this guy. Now, this guy, he's from the States. He's a millionaire. Spent most of his time up here in Canada. Some people was going to recognize his name, Ernie Jenderko. And he fished with GM Pro Bass and GM Mariner Pro Bass, or GM or Mariner Pro Bass, whatever. And OV Pro Bass and Renegade and Ottawa Bass. And like I say, he fished with some of the big guys in this area. Taught them a lot. And when I got the opportunity to go fish with him, I thought, well, this is great. And I just told him, I said, I want you to teach me how to fish deep weed lines. So we went to a lake in around Big Rito. Got there 7 o'clock in the morning, doing it as a tournament type thing. An hour and a half, 8:30, still had no fish in the boat. And then from 8:30 till about 2:30, it was pretty much bang, bang, double headers, a triple header. He says there should be a fish there. I throw in, boom, there's a fish. He stops the boat, there should be a fish here. Da, da, da. It was an incredible day fishing, and that opportunity was once in a lifetime. And the amount that I learned from that it vaulted me forward in my abilities an incredible amount. So it may be intimidating fishing with somebody that's a bit better than you, but in the long run you're going to get better. So anyways, last summer I joined the local Bass Masters Club, the Ottawa Valley South Bass Masters. I fished at this club many years ago, back in the mid-'90s when it first started, and I always enjoyed doing Bass Masters because you meet new guys every time you go fishing. So, And I just wanted to quickly go over how it went. Seeing as I went too long on picking a partner, I might extend this into the next one. Just a quick note on my new format. I was supposed to be ready for this one. Didn't. Having a bit of problems with it. Had the power go down and lost everything that I was doing. That's why you should press save often. But that didn't work. So it's going to be maybe a couple more episodes before I get that figured out. But in the meantime, I did Bassmasters last year, and we had how many tournaments did we had? I think we had 5 of them. Oh yeah, the first one was out of Morrisburg. Didn't do very well. Well, first actually we did a multi-species on the Rideau River, and I knew I wasn't going to do well in that because I haven't fished the Rideau River, and I don't go there, to fish for walleye and crappies anymore these days. So it just threw me off, and I just wasn't really prepared for it. So I didn't really try hard, and that wasn't fair to my partner. But we did at least catch some fish. Because, like I say, it wasn't really that important for me. I didn't try that hard about it. Didn't really care about the outcome. So, but the first in our club tournaments was on. I'm going to save this for the second show. Anyways, I'll go through it quickly. The first tournament was out of Morrisburg on St. Lawrence, and Charles whooped everybody's ass with a big 24 pounds. Past experience there obviously helps. So does the sight fishing. And second one was on the Head Pond. That was Frank Ramsey took that one. Frank's always a good stick. And the Head Pond's a nice stretch of water. It's that's between the Ottawa River and Stewartville. It's a stretch of the Madawaska. It's locked at both ends, but it's a nice stretch. Muskies galore in there, and walleye in there as well too. And it's got some big smallmouth and some big largemouth in there as well. So I'm going to go back there. I like that body of water. The third one was on Big Rideau, and that's the one that Dave and I won. We would have, if I hadn't screwed up with the culling, we would have done better than what we had, but we had 2 dead fish, so we had 16.5 pounds, something like that. We had a penalty, but we had over 17 pounds, but with the penalty 16.5, so that was a surprise because we were going into the qualifier was in a couple of weeks, but I did the qualifier in the last program, so. The next one was muskrat. It's a big surprise there. Tyler and I did 20 pounds of fish there. That was an awesome day in the rain. I've got a video of that I'm going to be posting, and that was a great day. And a big surprise at the end of the day for me. I couldn't believe 20 pounds. The best I've done on that body of water. An awesome smallmouth day. Just an awesome smallmouth day on a flipping jig, which was even better. I was... the beginning didn't start out well. I lost a big fish on one of the humps, the first hump. And I mean a big fish, probably 5-pounder. And then it just started going from there. We got our limit quickly after that, and then started hitting the shorelines and bang, bang, bang. So... But that in itself was probably one of my better days on the water as far as fishing-wise goes. And it was an awesome day. So, but we're getting to the end. Oh, sorry, Tara. I forgot I had the dog in me. So, that's it for this episode. Got to call it quits right now. But I want to thank you for tuning in. I want you to come back and listen to the next episode. It's going to be... what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a breakdown of my Big Rideau win and the muskrat win. And just, give you a bit of how we did what we did. And... I got some more questions coming up, so we'll address the questions in the next episode as well too. Finally got my. I've been out fishing with a couple other guys, ice fishing with a couple other guys, but I finally got my ice shack out, and or my clam out, and this weekend I'll be going out. So I'll give you an ice report as well too. With this weather, everything should be tightened up greatly. So, it's been a slow getting back into fishing this winter because of a couple of health reasons, but I won't bore you with that one. Anyhow, it's about that time. I really like to thank you. See you later. Remember, it's all confidential.